welcome back to another episode of Learning How to Crochet with Just the Right Stitch. My name is Casey, and today we're going to be going over the next lesson in our Learning How to Crochet series. So I thought I'd start this lesson by first going over the stitches that we learned in the last episode, which was the slipknot, the chain stitch, the single crochet, and the half double crochet. So then for this episode, we're going to be going over a couple new stitches of the slip stitch and the double crochet. Also, we're going to talk about how to crochet in the front loop only and the back loop only. After this episode, you'll have everything you need to go over our first crocheting tutorial. I'm thinking we're going to start off with something super simple like a washcloth. And then the next episode, since the weather is already starting to get cold, I thought it'd be really fun to use the crochet stitches that we've already learned to do something like a headband or an ear warmer. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video so you don't miss any future content. Hi everybody, so let's get started. So I wanted to start off this lesson with a quick review on what we learned in the first lesson. So the first thing we learned in the last video is how to make a slip knot to get our yarn onto our hook. So the first method I taught you was how to do it by just putting it on the table and laying your yarn over top. Sorry, let's make sure you can see that. Laying your yarn over top, and then you wrap it underneath. Then you wrap it underneath and pull tight. So then you have a slip knot. The second method for making a slip knot is the way that I do it, which is by taking the yarn, wrapping it around my fingers, and then pulling some of the extra yarn underneath and pulling tight, like so. So once you have your slip knot, you use the loop to place it onto your hook, and then just pull the tail to tighten it to your hook. So the next thing I want to go over is the chain stitch. So the chain stitch is very simple. It's yarning over and pulling through the loop on your hook. Yarn over and pulling through the loop on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. So as you can see, I've made 3 chains there. I'll make a couple more so then we can go over the next step. Alright, so the next thing we went over last video is how to turn and how to make a single crochet. So here you can see the 5 chains that I've already made. So when I turn, I'm just going to flip my hook around, and then we skip the first stitch here. So then I'm going to insert my hook under the first and the second loop of that stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, and yarn over and pull through both the loops on my hook to make a single crochet. So here's how to make a single crochet one more time. I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch under the first and the second loops of that stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops that are on my hook. So then the next stitch that we went over is how to make a half double crochet. So we make a half double crochet by starting off by doing yarn over, and then we insert our hook into the next stitch by going through the first and the second loops of that stitch, and then we yarn over and pull through the stitch. And see, I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to pull through the first loop of my hook. Then now I'm going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops of my hook. So one more time to make a half double crochet. I'm going to start by yarning over. Then I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch, going under the first and the second loops of that stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the stitch and the first loop on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops of my hook. So there was a review of the stitches that we did in the last video. So let's get started on some new stitches. I'm going to start off by talking about how to do the double crochet, since I'm at the end of my work here and I'm going to have to turn in order to do any more stitches. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you how to turn and then make a double crochet. So as I mentioned in the last video, double crochets are taller than single crochets. That's why they're called a double crochets, because they're double the size. So when I'm at the end of my stitch, before I turn, I'm going to chain not one, but two before I turn, just to help give me that height for my double crochets. So now that I've chained 2, I'm going to turn my work and start working in the other direction. So I'm going to start by yarning over and inserting my hook into the first stitch and skipping the chains completely. So I'm going to go under the first and the second loop of that stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through the stitch. Then I'm going to have 3 loops on my hook. At this point, I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on my hook to have 2 loops left. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. So you can see the stitch that I made is a lot taller than the single crochets below. Alright, so let's go over that one more time. When making a double crochet, we start off by doing a yarn over. Then we insert our hook into the next stitch, making sure to go under both loops of that stitch. Then we yarn over and pull through the stitch to have 3 loops on our hook. Then we yarn over, pull through those first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Alright, one last time. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops of the hook. So the next stitch I want to teach you is the slip stitch. The slip stitch is really useful because it's a stitch that doesn't have any height to it. So it's something that you can use as a tool to skip stitches without doing decreases. So let's show you what that looks like. So here I did my chain 1 and turn already. So when I do my slip stitch, I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on my hook. So as you can see, I made another stitch. But it did not give the work any more height. I'll do another one and show you the difference. So I'm going to insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, and then pull through the loop on my hook. So again, might be easier if I take my hook out here. So I've made 2 stitches already, but they're the same height. I haven't increased height at all. The next stitch I'll show you a single crochet so you can see the difference in how the single crochet adds height. Alright, so here we have the first 2 are the slip stitch, and then the last one here is a single crochet. And the single crochet, as you can see, is just a little bit taller because it has added height to it. So that's the only time that I ever use slip stitches. Sometimes slip stitches can be used to help decorate or make a ribbing on a pattern as well. Hi everybody, so now let's talk about crocheting in the front loop or the back loop only. So I wanted to show you what crocheting in the front loop or back loop only looks like on a piece. So this piece I worked in just the front loops only. So as you can see, it kind of makes this interesting little ribbed effect, which is a little bit more stretchy, and that's why it's usually used to make banding on headbands or hats, so it helps make it more stretchy. Alright, so see how we have crochet stitches? Each crochet stitch has 2 loops on it that I've been talking about this whole time. So as you can see, it has one right back here and one up here. The one that I'm pointing to now, which is the one furthest from me, is going to be the front loop of the stitch. I'll try to isolate that for you here. So this is going to be the front loop of the stitch. And then if I were going to do the back loop only, instead of inserting under both stitches, I would insert under just the stitch closest to me, and that would be the back loop only. So when I would work this stitch, I would ignore the stitch in front, or the loop in front, and I would just go under the loop in the back. And doing that again is how you get this interesting little ribbed effect in your crochet work. Alright, so that is the end of this lesson on the Learning How to Crochet series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful in teaching you some of the next stitches that we're going to be needing. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next video, which is going to be our first tutorial on how to actually make a crochet project. I'm really excited. I can't wait to bring it to you. Again, please let me know if there's anything that you found helpful or anything, suggestions that you have for me, or anything that you think I should do differently next time in the comment section below. There will also be links included below to my crochet cheat sheet document and my crochet diagram document. So don't forget to check those out, and also don't forget to check me out on my other social media websites, which will also be included in the links below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!